This is the Milo Sweet Podcast, where you'll learn to get unstuck. Start now. Conquer life's challenges by learning to do difficult. Find quick and clever ways to overcome. Wait, did you think life was going to be easy? Remember, all of your excuses are now dead to me. Let's get started. Guess what time it is? It's time for you to hit the subscribe button and find just 1% that you think will benefit from this. But if you're feeling a little generous, right? Or you're super free with your time right now, probably doing nothing because you're listening to this. Well, maybe if you're doing something, actually just make yourself free right now. Hit subscribe. What are you waiting for? Hit it. Come on. Hit subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me, Lauran. Welcome to the Milo Sweet Podcast. Let's hear a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mila. So my name is Lauran. I'm actually a native of Kansas City, Missouri, and I've been living in Portland now for almost 10 years. I'm a dog mom, I'm newly married, and I am a keeper at the Oregon Zoo.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. So there's a lot of stuff we can dive into here. I hope you're ready. So first, what is it like to be a dog mom right now? What are your dogs going through right now?
So I have two dogs. Both are older, so they're considered seniors. I have a Shiba Inu. For those of you that don't know, a Shiba Inu is a breed from Japan. They kind of look like a fox. And she will be 13 in July, and she was built for quarantining and self-distancing. She's doing good. She's having an okay time with this. I think, though, sometimes she's mad that we're interrupting her nap time, but otherwise she's doing okay. My other dog is a shelter dog. She's a mountain cur mix. So I don't really know what her breed is. She's also 12, and she's having a little bit harder time because she likes to go to the park. She likes to go hiking. So we're definitely going on lots of walks to try to get some of that energy out for her. So it's definitely different for both dogs. Different ends of the spectrum.
That's interesting. I feel like I'm both dogs in one. Sometimes I'm like, this is not so bad. Other times I'm thinking, how many times can we run around the car in the driveway while I chase my son? And I realized our stamina is 45 minutes around one car. That's our record right now. So we'll see. I'll see how that continues to go on my Coronacation. So you mentioned that you're from Kansas. What made you move to Portland?
Well, I'm from Kansas City, so I'm actually from Missouri. So it's confusing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's a Kansas City, Missouri, and a Kansas City, Kansas. They're pretty close to each other, so a lot of people get confused. But I moved here, oh my gosh, almost 10 years ago, and I followed a boy out here. So that's why I made the big move. It did not work out. I found an even better boy, which is great. But little things kept me here. And, in retrospect, I'm so glad that I ended up staying.
So when you moved here, were you into animals, or how did that journey from moving here to being a zookeeper, what was that like?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question, and one that I get asked a lot. So I've loved animals my entire life. It's always been a passion of mine. I read zoo books when I was a little kid. I remember watching Jack Hanna, watching Steve Irwin, just all these different shows on TV, and being like, I want to be like those guys. This is amazing. But I never really knew how to do that. I had lots of pets growing up. My parents, were like, animals are a hobby. You have pets. If you want to work with animals, you need to be a vet or a vet tech. Well, I didn't really want to be either of those things. So when I went to school, I studied science. I studied biology and chemistry, and wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I worked multiple different jobs in the science field. I actually worked in education for a little bit. And then when I moved to Oregon, I actually heard about a program at one of the community colleges called The Biology and Management of Zoo Animals. And so I started researching it, and I realized that it's kind of, it's a specialty degree and a foot into what it's like to be a keeper. So the program was designed for 2 years. So you did 2 years of classwork in conjunction with a year of doing an internship at the Oregon Zoo. I was so thankful and so lucky to be involved with that program, to be accepted. So while I was doing that, I was also working at, not working, but volunteering at the Oregon Humane Society in conjunction. So it was nice to get a little bit of domestics and exotics at the same time. So I graduated from the program and was like, woo, I'm so happy. Like, cool. But it was amazing because I learned so many different things and had a lot of great experiences with that, ones that I never probably would have gotten if I stayed home in Missouri, because there's not a program like the one that I was fortunate enough to be involved with. At the end of the program, though, we had to do an externship. It was about 5 or 6 weeks, depending on where we went. And my favorite animal in the entire world is a giant panda. And so there was an opportunity to go to China and work with pandas in China. And so I was fortunate enough to do that for about 4 months and loved it so much. It was amazing. It was a dream come true. And then when I returned to the States, I was like, well, I need a job. It's really hard to get my foot in the door with zoos. So I started looking around, still applying to zoos, trying to see what was out there. So I worked with a number of vet clinics. So I worked emergency and ICU. I worked at an exotics clinic. I did a lot of different things, and then was able to get a job working as a relief keeper at the Oregon Zoo, and then finally worked my way up to part-time, and now I'm full-time. And that was a very long way of telling you my story of how I got involved and how much it was such a journey. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but I've loved animals my whole life, and I'm glad that I found my path of where I wanted to go to actually work with them. That was outside of the norm that everyone thinks of, with being a vet or a vet tech. So.
Well, I love that, because the number one thing I teach in homeschool is autonomy and freedom, and for my kids to challenge my way of thinking in their own or any other way that they run into, because the truth is everyone's journey is really a custom fit for themselves. And if we're open to see that, then we will lean into it, and you can actually hit the fast forward button on your own journey. It's just a lot of the hesitation is just we don't know. Yeah. And we don't know if we should trust what someone else is telling us or our own instincts. So I think that is a beautiful story as a parent of kids who love animals. And I don't know what to do with that. I allow them to express interest, and I try to surround them around a lot of people that have the same passion as them, so they can see what that looks like as a result. But I really don't know. And hearing how other people find, their way is really, it's really empowering for me to just keep struggling through it. So if you're talking to little Lauran, when, she's out there right now, and maybe her mom is listening to this, or her dad, I don't know if she would be listening to my podcast, but first you have, okay, I'm not going there, but what would you say to her? What advice would you say to her parents, or what do you think she should know that would encourage her to continue her passion or to find out how she can express her love for animals?
Oh my gosh. Well, my first piece of advice would be never give up. It's a struggle, and it's one that not a lot of people understand. When I say that I love animals, I love all animals. And that includes some of the icky ones that people don't like. For example, my husband does not like spiders or snakes. But to me, they're still beautiful, important animals. So, just persevere and, stay true to yourself. You really have to study hard. I had to get multiple degrees to do this. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And never give up. If that is truly your passion, then you need to keep striving for it, because animals are such an important part of our world, of just human nature, that, if that's really a part of who you are, then you need to be so true to that, and really embrace that passion, and find ways to do that. And so I really encourage the parents to take little Lauran, to different activities. Is there a shelter nearby, depending on age, but is there a shelter, where she could read books to the animals? Is there an activity where maybe she could like sit and pet them, go to the zoo, talk to the keepers, do different things, watch YouTube videos. Facebook Lives are a great way to get involved with that and ask questions, anything to kind of ignite that spark and keep that passion going. There's a lot of opportunities that I just don't think people think about and realize.
All right, that's another episode in the books. Hello? I said it's over. Why are you still listening? Like, seriously, the episode is over. If you're still listening right now, you know what? You're probably a chronic procrastinator. Guess what? I'm still listening too. Come on, for real, seriously. We gotta go do something productive. No, like, for real. No, for real. Okay, you can keep listening.